DIY Indoor Fairy Garden. Today we will be going over the making of an indoor fairy garden, supplies, lighting, water, and more. Here's an idea. Think about what type of indoor fairy garden you would like. Glass dome, an old pair of shoes, a wooden platform, a suitcase, etc. Give your answer during the live. Fairy gardens are a fun pastime, and adding to and changing your garden is very relaxing. Today with your host, TZED, let's get on with the building of a fairy garden live with friends. And happy fairy day. How is everyone today? We have Queen Bees, Babies and Stuff, Lori's Creations, Paula Widener, 1986, Cheyenne's Dollhouse. Hi everyone, and I'm glad to see you here. Why create an indoor fairy garden? Why? Because it's relaxing and fun. And I bet you all are wondering, why all of a sudden is she doing a fairy garden? Well, let me tell you, it's not all of a sudden. I've had a fairy garden outside every spring until the year I got sick. And then it was packed away and never taken out again. So, I decided, I found a beautiful piece of wood here, as you can see right here, and I am going to put the clear case around it other than the front, because I want to make sure that it has some on top to keep the dust from falling in. And I am making an indoor fairy garden that I can work on for my pleasure. I do a lot of game videos. I do my house is getting redone. Behind me you can see the wall that we had done and put up for the nursery and the videos. That is finally up and ready to go, so I'm doing my fairy project in front of that wall. So I decided maybe I need to have my fun, something that makes me happy that I can share with my friends, and that is you guys, and build it indoor together with you. And you can see I have a lot of the fairy garden stuff right here, but I also love the miniature fairy gardens. So I am kind of gonna do a duel here in this fairy garden, guys. It's going to be awesome. And I also decided, thank you, Queen, thank you. You guys are getting in on the ground floor with me. So this is just some of the stuff I'm going to show you. some other stuff. And just in case you ask how to start a fairy garden, let me turn my light back on. It has a safety thing on it that shuts off. We'll use green this time. You can make a indoor fairy garden out of the tiniest little thing like this that you see right here. The tiniest little thing, or you can make a big fairy garden like I am going to, like I had outside. And I did show it many years ago. I showed my outdoor fairy garden, and I did get some new tiny houses to put in the indoor. But I'm going to try to utilize some of the outdoor ones. I think I can do it. So, what you want to do if you decide to do an indoor fairy garden after you build mine with me, I'm going to try to stick to every Friday to build this fairy garden with you guys and show you how it goes. But today, I want to go over setting up your fairy garden, because a lot of people don't even know where to get started. Now, you can go over to Target. Hello, Sacred Emotions is in the house. You can go over to Target. You can get them at Walmart's. Sometimes the Dollar Tree has fairy stuff, but you got to be very, very careful. I'm going to show you the difference here in a minute. Hold on. Now, here is, let me show you this. Here is a fairy horse from the Dollar Tree. And you can see the difference in how they're made. You see that? This is from the Dollar Tree. This is a fairy horse. Not really what I wanted, but my sweetheart got it for me anyways. And now you can see the difference in the way they're made from the other stores when you're getting that one craft, Joanne Fabrics has them. Hobby Lobby has a excuse me guys, Hobby Lobby has a lot of fairy stuff. So if you want to go over there and wait for their sales, buy a lot of your fairy stuff there. But you can see the difference in the fairy stuff from the Dollar Tree to, but not always. Now, I'm going to give kudos to the Dollar Tree, because Dollar Tree does have a lot of nice stuff. Now, let me show you some other fairy stuff I got from the Dollar Tree. See what I mean? This is why I said you got to really be careful when you're looking at the Dollar Tree. This is just like the ones I get. See? Just like the ones at Hobby Lobby. And they look identical to the ones, Hobby Lobby. See that? So these are the little animals. You got to just look at what you're buying, and I'll show you. That's the turtle, and here's the frog. And these were gotten at the Dollar Tree. So I love Dollar Tree crafting. So I'm not downing them in any way, guys. Not at all. They have a lot of nice miniature fairy stuff. See? And it looks just like the ones I got at Hobby Lobby. So just watch what you're getting. That's all I'm telling you. Because sometimes the makers are different. You guys got to see this cute little guy. I just love him. Can you see him? Let me put my hand behind him, because he is just as cute as a bug in a rug. Look at him, guys. I love the little gnome fairies. I love them. I love them. And he is cute as a bug in a rug. All right. So I'm not, like I said, the Dollar Tree. And I also, oh, sorry guys, let me shut that call down.
Incoming call.
There we go. And I got a cute little beehive at the Dollar Tree. Now, I bet you're wondering, oh my gosh, she's got a lot of those. Well, you know me, guys. Whenever you share something with me, I share something back. But I'm not going to tell you what right now. That's going to be our hidden fairy secret. And here is a little fairy windmill. Can you guys see that? How awesome. So that is why I have so many little fairy items. A welcome sign. And we have a water pump. Can you guys see that water pump? Isn't that adorable? And that's a water pump. And of course, we have a little frog on a leaf. How awesome is that, guys? So, keep in mind our fairy surprise. Now, Queen Bee said, love the beehive. I knew you would, girl. I knew you would. Now, when you start a fairy garden, guys, the reality is you've got to sit and make your checklist. Make a checklist. Okay, how do I want my fairy garden? What do I want to put it in? Do I want a small one, big one, or do I want a medium one, or do I want an extra large? Mine here, this piece of wood is considered a medium. This is going to be a medium fairy garden because the wood is not that long and not that wide. So it's going to be a medium. And I just got to show you this, guys. Look at my little gnome fairy on a swing. Isn't he adorable? Awesome, awesome. And of course, you have to have the leader of the fairy garden. You have to have the leader. And of course, you have to have the missus. Gotta have the missus. Now, these I got at Hobby Lobby. The fairy garden and the missus. And I added the flowers to the flower pots. You can buy these flower pots at Hobby Lobby or Joann Fabrics. I've never seen them at the Dollar Tree, and if you guys have, let me know. And here's my other little pot that I filled full of green and purple flowers. They come empty and I fill them up because, of course, oops, I dropped my flower. I don't have those glued in yet. That's why it fell out. All right, so that's that. And here is how I buy my flowers. So you want to put on your checklist, what kind of flowers do I want in my fairy garden? Aren't these pretty for a fairy garden? Aren't they beautiful? And you can put them in the trees. You can put them around the trees. I mean, you just trim them with a wire cutter and you bring them down and glue the ends so they don't fall apart, and then you put them in your flower pots and you put them around the trees in your fairy garden. I know a lot of people like the live plants, but I don't, because I have too many appointments and with therapy and everything. No, get down. Don't you dare jump up there. You'll knock everything off Mama's fairy garden. And so what I did is I make a checklist. Paula likes the horse. You like the fairy horse? Isn't he cute? So here's another kind of fairy I get. These larger fairies were in my outdoor fairy garden. Aren't they beautiful? She's got a pot of flowers. She is reading a book. Isn't that awesome, guys? I'm big into reading. And I have a couple more that I had out there. And here they are. They are doing the teeter-totter. And I thought they would fit in here very well in my medium fairy garden. So keep in mind today, guys, take away from my beginning of the fairy garden what you want with yours. If you choose to do one, how you want it, where you want to put it. And believe me, guys, it is more fun than you realize. I love changing up, fixing them in a different position, changing out the flowers. It's just a fun, relaxing hobby. And it's another hobby of mine that I enjoyed doing until 2 years ago. And so now I'm going to make it inside so I can have fun. Get him a princess, Sacred says. That's what I ought to do. Now, I did tell you you could go with the fake plants, and I do, because I don't have to worry about watering them. I did pick these up at the Dollar Tree. They have the moss already in. You can tear them out of the pots and use the pots for another craft project and put your greenery onto your board. Now, we'll get into the board in a little minute. And you can see the leaves are slightly different on these. And then I have another one that's leaves are even more different. They look the same but different. It's the leaves. And so you definitely want to have your greenery. And I always buy an extra pot or two for the reason, just in case I have a boo-boo. And then I have an extra pot to get me by. So, you got your pots, you got your greenery. Now, let's talk about pathways. Let's talk about water. Do you want to maintain water in your indoor fairy garden? I say no. I don't. What I did is I bought some blue glow pebbles, and they will be the water. They will glow at night blue, and I'll charge them during the day so they glow, and that is my water in my fairy garden. Now, if you go over to Home Depot or to Lowe's, they will give you sample sheets of these. Now, you can't always pick the colors you want. Just tell them you want a sample sheet of tiles. And they will give you whatever sample sheets they have, or if they let you choose what you want. When I went over to Home Depot, this is all they gave me. The sample, it was only one sample he said he could give away. And I'm glad it was white, because I can put decorations on them in my fairy garden. They come apart real easy. Let me show you guys. They just are glued on there. You have to bend them a little bit. And they will, of course I don't have strength because of my hurt hand, but they are easy to come apart. I will have to cut mine. But you can paint your decorations, line them up, and make your path. Isn't that awesome, guys? That is from Home Depot. Oh, I'm sure Lowe's would have them too. I know Home Depot does. So check out Lowe's too and ask them for a sheet. And here, guys, let me show you. This is one sheet. This is how big that sheet was they gave me. So I have a lot of tile for my tile garden. I can even paint them. If I don't want white, I can paint them red, orange, green, rainbow colored. I can do whatever I want to. So if you like that idea, try to get white. And that way you can, but you sure get a lot of tile in one sheet. So that is Home Depot for sure. And you can check with Lowe's and see if they have any. Anybody have any questions so far that I can answer for you that would be helpful? How many want to start a fairy garden or would like to have a small fairy garden? Even a tiny one. Like I said, guys, you don't have to have. You can take an old flower pot, like a big old flower pot, and you can break it, break a piece off the side, glue it down onto the, like break some of the top off, glue the broken piece onto where it broke at, and you have a multi-leveled fairy garden. And if you want directions for that, I'll send you directions so you can do it. A broken flower pot fairy garden. All right. Queen Bee said she'd like to have a real small one. Lori would like to have one. What size, Lori? Do you want a big one, a little one, a medium one like mine, or what kind would you like? The best part of all the learning, guys, is the fun of looking at all the stuff and the fairy stuff that you can make a fairy garden out of. Maybe you do live in an apartment and you're like, oh, I don't have a lot of room. Well, guess what, guys? You can buy the cording at Hobby Lobby or the Dollar Tree, and you can hang your broken flower pot, your globe. You can hang your shoes if you use a pair of old shoes. All that can be corded and hung from the ceiling. And you can look at your fairy garden every day, change it, put new flowers in it, whatever you want to do without taking up a lot of space in your apartment. So that is the fun about fairy gardens. You can make them and put them almost anywhere you choose. Anywhere you choose. Even, better not say that. Whoa, I almost gave it away. Oops. Out the door with that one. I almost gave the surprise away, guys. It's in my back of my mind, and I almost said it. All right, let's move on. Sacred said, if you curb shop on garbage day, I always see, oh, there you go. That's right, guys. If you go by and you see some broken flower pots or pots sitting out by the curb, grab them puppies up, bring them home, wash them up, hose them down, clean them real good, and make your broken pot. I want to make one of those, guys. I do want to make a broken pot fairy garden for my craft desk. I cannot wait to do my tour of my nursery and my craft room, because I am going to try to get the broken one done before I do my tour, because we still have a couple more walls to put up, a couple more things to do, and I'll be ready for the tour. But that would be neat, sitting on my craft desk, wouldn't it? A tiny little broken flower pot fairy garden. Okay. Let's move on, guys. Let's move on. One of the big things we talked about after looking at all the fairy stuff, we talked about selecting the container. Now, what to put in it. There is so much. Now, guys, one of the things I love, and I did get this at Hobby Lobby, I love how they make the moss-covered rocks. See the sparkle in those? Look at the sparkle. And in one package for $2.99, they give you 4 rocks. I think that is a good price. And they are covered completely, guys. Covered completely. And this is the large one. And then we have a medium type one, covered completely, sparkles. I'll put that one over here. And then you have a small flat one, a tiny flat one. Look how flat that is. And then you have another large, it's almost like a, I don't know what shape that is, a kidney shape. Whoop, I dropped it. It's a kidney shape. Let me see if I can get it here without knocking my camera. I got to be careful not to hit the camera. Okay. You guys are not going to believe this, but I am sitting in my tiny doll rocking chair. Can you believe that? I took Cherish Cherry out of the rocking chair, and I'm sitting in her rocking chair. I hope she's not mad at me. But here we go. I think this is a kidney-shaped one. I don't know. What do you guys think? Does that look like a kidney to you? And that also is another big moss-covered rock. I just love these. And so the rocks are fun to put in your fairy garden. Well, hello, Terry Raymond Reborns is in the house. Hello, Terry. How are you doing this happy Fairy Friday? We are talking about starting a fairy garden, and I'm bringing you guys along to build my indoor fairy garden. Now, let's talk about putting the other decorations on. Let me move some of my tiny little little people over here. We'll move them off to the side here. The little beehive that Queen likes so much. I love that beehive too. That is so adorable. And we'll move these guys over here, get them out of the way. One of the things I love in my fairy garden, guys, and this does open and close. Yes, it does. It opens and closes. I'm going to show it to you. Let me get it open here. Come on, come on, come on. Now, you can have your fence gazebo this way, or you can have it closed up, which I like it either way. Now, sometimes in my outdoor one, I would close it. Other times, I would open it. And then, how about fencing? You can use the fencing any way you want to. See, it has little hooks, and you can make a small garden here. Now, this is what I would call a small garden inside my fairy garden. And you could go ahead and take some of your plants and put them all in your fairy garden. Can you guys see that? And have a fenced-in fairy garden with a little gnome inside tending to your fairy garden. But one thing I love about these fairy fences is they all connect. And I did buy quite a few of them because I didn't know what I wanted to do. You see how long they get? You link them together, and these could fit the whole perimeter of the fairy garden, or you can do smaller fenced-in areas, or fence in the house and leave a little garden trees by the houses, however you want to decorate. But you want to make sure that you have your fencing, because it gives you different insight to how your fairy garden is going to look. So you might want to put fence and the little gate gazebo, or you can get a set of chairs, which I also got. And your fairies, you can get the sitting fairies, so you buy a couple sitting fairies and you put them sitting on your bench. And then I also, let me move my rock back here, and I also have the table that goes with it. And so you can put the table in front of your bench, and then of course you have a side chair. And here's the side chair. Aren't they adorable? All made out of wood. And I thought of bringing Peridot with me today, but she wouldn't have had no room, guys. No room. Does anybody have any questions? Any questions? Any questions I can answer for you on making a fairy garden? I'm going to show you here in a minute. I'm going to wait for any questions to come in. And then I will show you some other things that you can do with your fairy garden. Now keep in mind, guys, if you're going to you have to have your grasslands or your sand. I bought about 6 or 7 different colored sands. Red, white, blue. Hey, even sand would look good as water. Blue sand. Instead of water and pebbles, I could put the blue sand down. I'm going to write that on my own fairy notes. I could definitely use blue sand. Now, let me show you 2 different kind of moss. You can get the moss sheet, which is very easy to work with. It glues down very well. See how the back is made? And it cuts very well. So you can use the moss sheets and cut them to your needs. Or you can get the reindeer moss. And it is thicker. See how much thicker it is? And this makes for good hills and valleys And let's say you want to put your water going down into a gully, then you use the reindeer moss to make your little hills so that your water looks like it's going down into the gully. Okay, Queen says, can you do this in a small cardboard box? Yes, you could. Yep, a cardboard box. And what you can do, you can get spray paint at the Dollar Tree now in their section of where they have their auto. Sometimes they have black and sometimes they have white. So you could get some black spray paint, unless you already have a black cardboard box. Spray paint it, and then you can go ahead and put in your moss or your reindeer moss, your moss sheets, and put those down, and you could use the little miniatures inside that. That would look adorable, Queenie. That would look adorable. Yes, you can make it. And if you don't want to do anything with your cardboard box, you want to leave it cardboard, that's okay too, because you can buy your little flower plants at the Dollar Tree, your flowers at the Dollar Tree, and you could even decorate up a cardboard box to look phenomenal. So yes, if you don't want to paint it, don't paint it. You can make it look just like it is. And that would be a lot of fun too. Now, here's another thing. I'm one of these people, I don't know how you guys are, but I'm one of these people that freestyles everything. I freestyle my writing a lot of times. I freestyle my games. And I freestyle my fairy garden. And that means I choose what I like. I don't want to go by someone else's theme. I don't want to go by what it's telling me to do in a fairy book. I go with what makes me happy. So if I have 10 little gardens around my fairy garden, that's how I want it. If I have 100 little gnome fairies, that's how I want it. And that's the way you should do anything in your life, guys. If it makes you happy, do it your way. You don't have to do it my way or the way a book tells you to do it. We can give you the ideas, but go with what makes your heart happy. And that brings us to, of course, step number 2. After gathering some of your supplies, you want to sit down and say, can I make a theme out of what supplies I have and what I'm going to need? So you can make any kind of theme. Let's say you want a culinary theme, or a fairy park theme, or a fairy garden theme with a certain kind of flower. That is up to what makes you happy. I like the freestyle, where I buy what I see, like what attracts me, and I go with that. And once the garden is put together, I am happy. That doesn't mean everyone's going to like your garden, guys. Keep in mind, not everyone's going to like my garden. But that is okay. They don't have to like it. As long as I like it. That's what matters. As long as you like your fairy garden, that's what matters. Do what you like. So, let's say you're going to go with a culinary fairy garden. So, you got to make your list. Okay, I got my gnomes, I got some fairies. Now I need to get some teacups, plates, silverware, anything related to culinary in the fairy garden world. And you could find those at Hobby Lobby, guys. Yes, you can. And you look for anything culinary and make your culinary fairy garden, where all the little fairies come in and fix the food. They even have tiny little foods you can put in there. Little muffins and little teacups to eat around the table. You know, put your teacups on there and your muffins. How adorable that would be too. But culinary is not my thing, so I will stick with my freestyle. Anyone else have any questions? Any questions? And you know what else would be good too, guys? If you found an old aquarium. You know, a lot of people get rid of their smaller aquariums. You could even do a fairy garden in an aquarium. That would be, it's just like having a fish tank in your house, but you have your little fairy garden in there instead. How awesome would that be, guys? Yes, you can make a fish theme. They have little fishes. You can make your little pond, and you can, if you make your pond out of sand, you can put the little fish, tuck them down in the sand. Oh my gosh, that would be awesome, Paula. Put your little fishies down in the sand to make them look like they're skimming the top of the water. That would be awesome. So basically, you can use anything for your substrate, guys. Dirt, sand, rocks and pebbles, dried moss, sheet moss, synthetic grass, floral foam. Foam is good to make your little mountains out of too, guys. But I try not to spend too much. I'm a thrifty person, and if I can make my hills out of my reindeer moss, I'm not going to go and buy foam. But you can use the floral foam. You can also use aquarium rocks and sea glass. So there is so many things to make your substrate out of that you could really have a nice base for your fairy garden. I'm going to show you this, guys, right here, that a person did. It is, I'm going to make it so you can see the picture. Hang on, guys. And this is just one idea, guys. A lantern fairy garden. Check out how she did that. Isn't that gorgeous? And she has the little fairy lights in there, a chair, and her little gnomes and flowers. How awesome is that, guys? And that is just a lantern. She can hang it, turn her lights on and hang it in her living room, and it looks so beautiful. So there are so many ways to have a fairy garden, guys. And when I say it's very relaxing, it is very relaxing. And we all have things we have to do. We have to get up. We have to pay bills. We have to work. We all have something we have to do. But I myself am guilty of it. We've got to stop and take time for ourselves. And this is why I decided to build my fairy garden with you guys, because I have put things off that I wanted to do. I keep telling myself, oh, wait till the remodel's done. Wait till that room's done. Wait till the... No more waiting, because I really think we can get burnout and sad if we don't work on what we love. So that's what I am doing to keep myself from getting burnout from all the appointments and all the therapy and all the work on the house. I'm going to have fun with my fairy garden. Yeah, now that's good, Paula. That would... oh, an old coffee pot. Oh, my gosh. You would have to have a cutter, I'm sure. What idea, Sacred, do you have for cutting it? Because you want to be able to see, so you would have to cut like a section of the pot out and then cut that in half and glue it in 2 tiers. And it'll look like you have an upstairs and a downstairs inside the teapot. I don't know how... I mean, that's the only way I could think about doing it in a teapot, but that would look awesome. I think you understand what I'm talking about. Making my dollhouse stuff is... yeah, I know, Queenie, you did good on your dollhouse stuff. I've seen your videos. Your videos are awesome. Very much so. Very, very much so. But I mean, Sacred Emotions has had a couple of very, very, very good ideas, guys. I love her teapot. And I loved the what was her other one that I really liked? It was the Broken Pots from, oh, let me see. She had two of them, doggone it, and I liked both of them. My mind is somewhere else. Yes, imagine a rubber garden boot. Yes, that would be awesome too. Now, I know someone online who did theirs in a pair of their husband's old work shoes. And she left the work shoes just as they were, no cleanup, no nothing, and she put the little strings in there, and then she built her dirt inside to keep them solid, and then she opened up the boot where the laces go. She opened those up and stiffened them, and then she put her little garden in. Oh, it was so gorgeous, guys. That's what I'm saying. If it's anything you can create, you can create with anything. And I love this, the rubber garden boot and the teapot. Now, if you get an older style teapot, let's say you're out garbage trolling because people throw things away. This is the kind of stuff you look for, guys, when you're doing crafts and you see one of those tall, old-time coffee pots. That you could really cut down the front of it, keep the handle where it goes, cut down the front, cut that in half, and then either glue it or solder it into and make a 3-tier fairy garden. That would be awesome. You could have your garden on one, your pool on another, and your fairies on another. You could have a 3-tier fairy garden out of that and have it sit on a desk or in the middle of your table. That teapot idea. And I will look, Angel, when I go to my auctions this week, I will look for the old style teapots. How many want one? Let me know. If you want one, tell me in the comments, and I will look at the auctions and try to find the old style teapots. Because that would be fun. And the garden boot too, the rubber garden boot would be a lot of fun too. So this is the start of our fairy garden, guys. How you want it, what you want in it. Now, I'm a little ahead of the game because I took a lot of stuff from my outdoor one and mixing it with my indoor. I do have to get a couple of things for my indoor that I don't want to bring the outdoor into the indoor. So I do got to get a couple of, I think this will fit nice, don't you guys? It's not too big for an indoor. I think it is just right. It looked good outside, but I think it'll look good on the inside too. So you definitely want to make your checklist. You want to look at what you have, which is what I will do. I will look at my houses, and next Friday when I come on, I will have my base down. I will have my hills where I want them. I will have my water down, my stones, and my little tiles. If I'm going to put the tiles, they will either be decorated or painted. They will be down. And once you get your platform done, then we can start decorating. Unless you guys want to watch me do my platform. Do you want to watch me do my platform? If you do, let me know, and I will wait and get all the materials together, and we will do that next week together. So let me know in the comments if you guys want me to do that with you. Or do you want to just do the decorating? So if you want me to lay the substrate down and all of the stuff on the ground, I will do so. Sacred said, I have seen so many different gardens. Someone cut the front of an old radio and gutted it with, oh, how awesome would that be? Oh my goodness, see, even that would make a good fairy. I just love ideas. Love, love, love. Yes, I have seen a lot of, because don't get me wrong, guys, I do watch other fairy garden videos. I try to get some ideas. Do I like that? Don't I? Do I want that for mine or don't I? I mean, ideas are great to look for, but make it your own. That's what I do. I might like the idea, but I want to make it my own. So, and I don't mean make it my own idea, make it my own in my garden, how I want it to look. Yes, I do have a vintage antique birdcage, guys, and I've often thought of changing that to a fairy garden, but here's why I won't. Sometimes the vintage cages, you can never ever find them again. And mine is a heart-shaped bird cage on a iron leaf pole. And so we have searched the world over for another one just like it. And there isn't one. So I will not touch it, but I have been tempted 100 times to make that into a fairy garden. I probably could if I put a, let's say I got out a rubber thing and then put rubber all the way around the, I couldn't glue it or nothing. It would just like a rubber ball sitting in there. That way I maybe could do it because I couldn't, but then you risk the rubber mat moving or shifting because you can't glue it to the cage. But it's something to think about. I'll have to show you guys next Friday. I will get it out and I will show you guys my heart-shaped bird cage. It is so pretty, and I just have to think about that some more. I can't commit to that, but I'll show it to you guys so you know what I'm talking about. You can make so many things yourself, free twigs. That's right, she's got a point there, guys. You can get, you wouldn't believe, like, see this little thing right here, this chair? Now, if you really looked at this chair, you can make this yourself out of twigs from your yard. Glue them together, even the seat. In fact, I have a lot of twigs in my yard, and I am going to do just that to show you guys next Friday. And also this one too. You can find the bigger twigs for the legs, the seat, the arms, and you can do the fancy back if you so choose. Very easy to do, guys, and I will show you that next Friday. How to make a chair out of twigs. And we will also, now nobody's told me whether they want to watch me do my platform or just have it done. So I will just have the platform done and we will start decorating the fairy garden. And don't forget about your lighting, guys. You have to have your lighting. You want to, like, let's say, I know at Amazon, you can get a box for like, they have like 25 little fairy lights in them. And you can get those little wired lights for like $25, I believe. And Angel is good at finding sale stuff, so you can get them anywhere really cheap, guys. And then you can wrap them around like your gazebo. You can also decorate the top of your fence. And what I like to do is the ones that have the little things on them, I hide them under the grass so I know where they're at. I turn them on and enjoy my fairy garden. Then when it's time to turn them off, I know exactly where they are, so they don't show in the pictures or videos, and they're all hidden. And I believe outside I had the lights around this and around the houses. I put them around, but I have big houses, so I can't bring the big houses into Mama said be right back. All right, how many? I know Sacred Emotions has said, let's see, I think Queen Bee said, Paula, has everyone told me what they would make a fairy garden out of? Has everyone told me that? We have gone through all of our checklist for starting a fairy. Do you want a miniature fairy garden or a medium, small, or large? Mine is a medium because it's not that big, but it's not small either, like a pair of boots or a bird cage. But so it does have to be medium. So let me know what kind you would really like, guys. What kind of fairy garden that you would do. I know Queenie Bee said she would like hers in a cardboard box. I think Sacred Emotions said a rubber boots or a teapot. And I believe Paula Widener in 1986 said she would like hers in a terrarium. Fish tank one, a terrarium, yeah. And let's see, I don't think, let's see. And I know that Lori's Creation wants a medium one. So hers would have to be on a platform like mine or in a suitcase. If you have an old suitcase, guys, you can have, or do it yourself, have your sweetie or your husband hook up the chains to keep it from falling backwards, or you can glue it open. If you don't want to ever close it again, you can glue the back part where it goes down flat and glue that solid, and that way it will stay open forever. And you can have a fairy garden that goes flat inside and up the wall. How awesome was that? You could put that rolling ivy on the top, and then your little fairies flying around up there, and flowers and trees, and you could even do a medium one out of a suitcase. That would be awesome. And I have seen a lot of suitcase ones that are old school suitcases. The wooden ones, they're like the real square wooden ones, and that they used to make. And they make awesome fairy gardens. Just go trolling, guys. Troll along, and I don't mean trolling the bad way. I mean troll through the videos and look at other people's fairy gardens and how they do it. Facebook has a lot of fairy garden people on there, and you can take away a lot of good ideas. I hope today I have helped you with day one of starting your fairy garden, giving you some good ideas if you need the ideas, like what you want to put in, how big you want to make it, how you want to make it. And I appreciate you guys coming along with me, picking and going through all my stuff that I want to put in my fairy garden. Now, of course, like I said, not all the little ones are going to be in my fairy garden, guys. That is for a surprise. So I will separate them before we get started next week, and I'll have the plants tore down, and so we can decorate together. How fun is that going to be? Lori, I see all your creations, honey. I read them. You wanted a medium one on top of your fireplace. Yep, I've seen them, honey. I've seen them. And you said the old birdcage sounds good. I don't know if anybody else sees them, but I see them, honey. Does everybody else see her comments? I've seen them all, honey. I like the top of your fireplace. You'll have to explain to us how big is your fireplace, and how would you do it? From one end to the other, or do it in the middle of the fireplace? How are you going to do that on your fireplace? Hey guys, that would be fun. Let me tell you, that would be fun on top of the fireplace, because it's right there in your living room or your sitting room. And wow, that would be awesome, because anytime you want to walk by and change out a fairy or put it in a different position, that's what I have fun doing. I will leave a fairy sit somewhere for a while, and then I'll move her over to a different place, because you want to make it look like they're moving around. And we're waiting on Lori to answer us. What does she want to do? Make it the length of her fireplace or just in the middle. It's a 2x4 and it would start in the middle. Oh, that would be awesome, a 2x4. Yeah, that's about a medium, I believe. That would be a medium. Yep. You will have to show us as you go along, Lori. That sounds really, really, really fun. It really does. I like the fireplace idea only because you're there all the time, all the time. You're right there, and you can change it up and do whatever you want at that time. I do not like the color blue. Let's go with green. Yep. All right, guys. Till next Friday, I want to thank you all for coming in. And if you didn't make the live and you have watched this video, thank you so much for enjoying our fairy garden video. And if you haven't given me that big like, guys, please do so now. I would sure appreciate it. And share this video for others to come and join our DIY fairy garden. That's right. It is going to be a happy Fairy Friday every week till we get her done. Very relaxing, very fun with your friends building this. Now, guys, let me tell you, when we get started building, do not be afraid to give me okay, let's say, oh, put that tree over there. Oh, I think that flower would look better over there. Do not be afraid to give me your input. If I use it, I use it. If I don't, I don't. But don't be afraid to put your input into my fairy garden. That is what the fun is, to do it with friends, not just sit here and watch me. I mean, some of you can if that's what you want to do. That makes me happy too, but I'd really like you to participate and tell me where you think things should go. And I will see you next Friday on the DIY Fairy Garden. Until then, guys, enjoy the games, enjoy the word of the week, and enjoy each other. Love, hugs, and positivity to everyone.